Hello and welcome to She Talks Beauty, Business and Bread. Great to see you here today. Today we are going to be challenging our thoughts on what beauty is, the beauty business, and how we spend our bread around that. So, of course, I had to look at the definition of beautiful. And it's actually defined as pleasing the senses or mind aesthetically. So of a very high standard and excellent. So before we go any further, I just want to let you know that you are beautiful. When the creator made you, he had high standards in mind. That is why the abundance that is out there, I want you to know that it's for you. Okay? I also love the first definition that states beauty is about pleasing the senses or mind aesthetically. I think it talks to the relationship between beauty, of course, is what, when we first think about it, is what we see, but also how our thoughts play a part in influencing that. So now you know that you're beautiful. If there is any challenging thought there as you hear those words, I want you to think about where that stems from. Your self-talk influences whether you think you're beautiful or not. So, straight away as a challenge, I want you to start declaring your beauty for 7 days straight in the morning and before you go to bed. Tell me in the comments via email if it plays a part or influences at all your personal feelings of your beauty. I would love to know because I can only speak for my life, but it definitely has changed how I view myself, speaking better about myself, particularly as my body changed since having a child. I have to declare it constantly to myself because what I see in the mirror has changed. But what's important is that your self-worth does not change according to what you see. So if you get your mind right, that means that no matter what happens physically on the outside, you can still have self-belief. You can still achieve what you want, go after your dreams and goals. As women, we're always working towards some sort of goal because, as well as being beautiful, we are ambitious. We have many roles, responsibilities, we have big callings on our life. But if you know that you are beautiful, it just gives you that extra edge to be able to go on and pursue it. And believe you me, as I started declaring my beauty more and more in my life, it took away a lot of fear to be able to go into the business space and operate. Even just showing up on this podcast before you now. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But actually, can you think of a girl right now who she shows up confidently and she may not be the ideal standard of beauty, but she has got her mind right. I love that. I love when people's beauty shines through because beauty, like the definition said, can also be heard. What people speak can show their beauty less than, I believe, what the world demonstrates, which is looks. So, in this era where the beauty standards of celebrities, I mean, Brazilian butt lifts are rising at an alarming rate. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I did do my research. Um, there is also an element of risk to it, like with anything. But going to the gym and exercising, thinking longer term, being able to resist the urge of short term gratification has no risk at all. In fact, it improves your mental health. So that's what I really wanted us to think about just for a minute. I want you to sit with the knowledge that some of the thoughts and things that you want to change externally, can you have a longer term thinking towards it rather than thinking about taking your money to something that is going to be just an instant transaction? Because obviously, as us women, we prop up the hair and beauty industry. I wanted to just share with you that an economic value report by the Hair and Barber Council and the British Association of Beauty Therapy of Cosmetology has found that the hair and beauty industry is worth, I want you to guess first, and I'm sure what I'm going to say now is going to trump it. Let me know if it did. 6.6 billion pounds. 6.6 billion pounds, just the UK. There is money out there, and we're willing to spend it on our hair, on beauty, on enhancing what's already there. Because that's what hair and makeup is. It's an enhancement of the beauty that already exists. I love my Fenty, but I also make sure that I have more time without it on than I do with it on, because I need to get used to the Ebony that looks at me in the mirror in the morning before I go out into the business workspace. So I don't get confused about my beauty. So when I'm saying I am beautiful and I am worthy in the mirror, it's the me before the makeup on. It's me before I straighten my hair. Everything else that comes after is an enhancement of what is already there. Just checking that you know that. If you don't leave with anything else on this podcast, that's what you need to remember. You are beautiful right now before you hit the goal. So let's talk about the beauty business. You know, I'm business mad, so we've got to talk about it. That's 6.6 billion pounds. Yes, it comes from a place of us wanting to be pampered, us wanting to look beautiful, especially when we're going out, and feeling good. But I do want to talk about the marketing in the beauty industry and how it influences our personal spending, because I don't want any of my listeners thinking that when they purchase something, that that is going to bring their beauty. This is for me as much as it is for you. If we are taking large amounts of the income that we have and we are putting a large percentage into the area of hair and beauty and not thinking about return of investment in other opportunities that are actually going to bring us money, that's problematic thinking. As you can see, there's loads of money out there. 6.6 billion pounds is being spent on the in the UK. So we need to be thinking about being part of the business transaction where we're earning. I looked at the definition of business in the first episode, which is the buying and selling of products and services. If you're just buying, you're missing a trick. It's time to start selling. You know, it might be that you have a natural skill for hair and beauty already, and you just need to start advertising. To start, if you're great at makeup, it might be that you advertise to help people with their makeup. You've got to start somewhere. Do not allow your thoughts to convince you that there isn't enough room for your gift and talent. Clearly, people are willing to spend. Why should it be you? Because you are worthy, because you are willing to put in the work. You're willing and ready to think longer term, to start with your first client, to get to your third, your fourth, your fifth, and beyond. In my first year of operating with Rose Tinted, we had two customers from October 2019 right the way to January 2020. Two people. If I had just looked at that snapshot shot in the first 2 months, I would have closed my business. When I look now, 2.5 years down the line, and I see 250 plus, if I had just narrowed my focus to the short term, which is what a lot of these industries encourage us to do, I would have packed up. I wouldn't be able to turn over the money that I have. Even looking at profit, it takes a couple of years sometimes to turn over an actual profit. You can bring money in, but turning a profit is something different. Expenses, like when we have our income and we're spending, certain expenses are there, they're needs. I believe I need to have a roof over my head. I believe I need to have food in my cupboards to fuel my body. I don't need necessarily to take hundreds of pounds a month when it's just enhancement. But I think some of us, including myself at times, have got confused between needs and wants, particularly in high spend months when you've got other priorities like blessing someone on their birthday or saving for the holiday that might be coming up in 6 months. It might be that you need to reduce some of those things that are just wants so you can hit your goal quicker, or even debt. If you're paying off debt, think longer term. What can come off in the short term so that in a year, 2 years, when you're doing that debt free scream, it's been worth it. I've got nothing against anybody who is having cosmetic surgery. In fact, I'd love to hear from you if you've had a BBL. I find it interesting. It's a market trend. What inspired you to do it? Why did you choose that over exercise, over perhaps changing your diet, getting a personal trainer? I only ask because that's the decision I made myself. As my income's increased, I've had to challenge my thoughts because what can happen when you're operating in the business space and you start earning more, you can start spending more on things that prior you couldn't think about. So because I can think about certain things now, I have to challenge my thoughts on a deeper level more than I did when I didn't have access to that money. Because now I have more. So I need to think about the spaces that I'm putting it in. And it's important that that money, as the bank balance increases, that doesn't begin to define my worth, or that doesn't have an influence on my beauty, because then if it goes down, it will go the same way. So I really want you to think and sit with that. And it might be that you've heard that 6.6 billion pounds and you want to learn a skill so you can start taking your piece of that pie, so you can start earning your own money. Or it might be that you reduce the amount you spend on hair and beauty by watching YouTube videos and learning to do it yourself. Either way, I just want to leave you with that thought. What are you spending in the beauty industry? And are you making sure that you are taking your piece of the pie so that your bread can build up? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you again soon.